Hello, hello. Thank you for checking in. It is Friday, Funny Friday, a regular feature of Live with Lorielle New, where we share jokes to put everybody in a good mood for the weekend. So I hope you have some jokes to share with everybody. And let me say hello to everybody, Allura Star and Shocker and Sturgis Sky and Tisas and House of Dave and Sam and St. Clinton and Eric and Petey and Tim. And there's YouTube. Eric and Petey and Tim and Ryan and Photo and Philip and Mark Mean and Star Raven and Angie Jonas and Fairies Lover and Lucky Girl and Azure Yusuf and The Cram and Marcel and Jim Dandy and Bill Knaus and Scott Kimmis and Wing Doggy and Sam and St. Clinton and Philip Chandler and Terry Sue and Frank and N1QOV and Cosmic Joe. Hello! Hello. Let me make sure that I've got everybody here. All right. Hello, everybody. Hope you're feeling good. All right. Somebody already has a long joke that they're posting, but I can't go back to it. So wait, maybe I can. Oh, Tisas has a long one. 4 friends spent weeks planning the perfect desert camping and riding trip. 2 days before the group is about to leave, Rob's wife says he can't go and tells him that Rob's wife puts her foot down and tells him he can't go. Rob's friends are very upset that he can't go, but they decide to go anyways. 2 days later, the 3 are out at the camping site, only to find Rob already there, setting up the tent, gathering firewood, cooking supper. Dang, man, his friends say. How long have you been here? And how'd you talk your wife into letting you go? And Rob says, well, I've been here since yesterday. Yesterday evening, I was sitting in my chair, and my wife came in behind me and put her hands over my eyes and said, guess who? And I pulled her hands off, and she was wearing a brand new see-through nightie. She took my hand into the bedroom. The room had a dozen candles and rose petals all over. She had handcuffs on the bed, and she told me to tie her down, cuff her to the bed, and do whatever I want. So, here I am. She's still in the bed. Marcel says a toothless termite walks into a bar and says, is the bartender here? No, it's been cured by lots of liquor. Otis has just did. Hi, Angie. Hope you're feeling good. I hope everyone's feeling good. Hi, Boot and Swede. Boot and Swede says he's getting aroused. Hello. Good to see you. Happy holidays. Oh, here's another long one. A psychologist was walking around the Oregon beach when he kicked up a bottle poking through the sand. He opened it up and was astonished to see a cloud of smoke and a genie appear before him. For your kindness, says the genie, I will grant you 1 wish. The psychologist paused and says, all right, I have always wanted a road from Oregon to Hawaii. The genie grimaced and thought for a few minutes and said, listen, I'm sorry, but I can't do that. Think of all the pilings that would be needed to make a highway and how long you'd have to reach the bottom. Think of all the pavement. That's too much to ask. Okay, the psychologist said, not wanting to be unreasonable. I'm a psychologist. Make me understand my patients. What makes them laugh and cry? Why are they temperamental? Why are they so difficult to get along with? I'm sorry, this keeps moving. That's why I have to keep pausing. I have to keep. Why are they so difficult to get along with? What do they really want? Basically, teach me to understand them, what they tick, and how to make them happy. The genie pauses for a second, sighs, and says, "All right, do you want 2 lanes or 4?" Sorry. The long ones are hard because the screen keeps rolling and I have to keep moving it to go back. It moves really quickly and then I can't see it. Thank you guys for your jokes. Teacher says to the class, "Whoever stands up is stupid." Nobody stands up. Teacher says, "I said whoever stands up is stupid." So little Johnny stands up and the teacher says, "Johnny, do you really think you're stupid?" And little Johnny says, "No, Miss Applebaum, I just didn't want you to be the only one standing up." Why would a teacher ask your class to stand up if you're stupid? Hey, Angie. All right, this keeps moving. Linda says, a boss was walking through the office one day when he saw a blonde secretary holding up an envelope and putting her ear to it. Curious, he finally walks over and asks her, "What are you doing?" And the blonde says, "Somebody told me I have a voicemail." Is that like seashells? Ah! When the TV repairman got married, the reception was excellent. A man was having problems with premature ejaculation, so he decided to go see his doctor. He asked the doctor what he could do about his problem, and the doctor says, "Well, when you feel like you're ready to ejaculate, try startling yourself." That same day, the man went to the store and bought himself a starter pistol, all excited to try the new suggestion. He ran home to his wife. At home, he found his wife in bed naked and waiting. As the two began, they found themselves in the 69 position. The man, moments later, felt a sudden urge to ejaculate, and he fired off the starter pistol. Oh my goodness. The next day, the man went back to the doctor, and the doctor asked, "How'd it go?" And the man says, "Not that well." When I fired the starter pistol, my wife shit on my face, but bit my penis, and the neighbor came out of the closet with his hands in the air. Oh, oh no! That's the dirtiest joke we've had. Oh! Oh! A father buys a lie detector robot that slaps people when they lie. He decides to test it out at dinner one night. The father asks his son if he did what he did this afternoon, and the son says, "I did my homework," and the robot slaps his son. And the son says, "Okay, I went to my friend's house to watch movies." The dad says, "What movies did you watch?" And the son says, "Toy Story." And the robot slaps the son, and the son says, "Okay, we were watching porn." And the dad says, "What? At your age? At your age, I didn't even know what porn was." And the robot slaps the father. And the mom laughs and says, "Well, he certainly is your son." And the robot slaps the mother. Robots for sale now. Angie says she's drinking coffee now, too. A dentist and a manicurist fought tooth and nail. teacher says, whoever answers my next question can go home early. So the little boy throws a piece of paper out the window, and the teacher says, who just threw that? And the little boy said, I did. Can I go home now? No. Yeah, so I hope you're all feeling good today. I'm feeling a little nervous and shaky, but pretty good. I was shaking a lot today. But a man in a movie theater notices what looks like a frog sitting next to him. So he says, are you a frog? And the frog answers, yes. And the man is surprised. He says, what are you doing at the movies? And the frog replied, well, I liked the book. Ribbit. What's the difference between a well-dressed man and a dog? The man wears a suit, the dog just pants. Ah! A 3-year-old walked over to a pregnant lady while waiting with her mother at the doctor's office, and she inquisitively asked the lady, why is your stomach so big? And she replied, I'm having a baby. And with big eyes, the little girl says, is the baby in your stomach? And she says, sure is. And the little girl with a puzzled look says, is it a good baby? And she says, oh yes, it's a very good baby. With even a little more surprise and shock, the little girl asks, then why did you eat him? Ah! Then why did you eat him? Wing Doggy. Oh, Wing Doggy. We changed the medication yesterday. Starting yesterday, they increased my medication, and I was awake last night. I didn't take any more Klonopin. I was awake last night till 5:30 in the morning. I was awake. Yeah, at 5:30, and I slept till noon. But that's still like, that was 6.5 hours, I guess. But I was awake all night, literally. The sun was coming up. The guy goes to a psychiatrist and says, Doc, keep having these reoccurring dreams. First I'm in a teepee, then I'm in a wigwam, then I'm a teepee, then I'm a wigwam. It's driving me crazy. What's wrong with me, Doc? And the doctor replies, well, it's very simple. You're too tense. Wing Doggy, I go back next week, so I will ask. Oh, here's a long one. A few days after Christmas, a mother was working in the kitchen and listening to her young son play with his new electric train in the living room. She hears the train. I can't read that one. Oh. A man is driving up a steep, narrow mountain road, and a woman is driving down the same road. As they pass each other, the woman leans out the window and yells, "Pig!" So the man immediately leans out his window and replies, "Bitch!" They each continue on the road, and as the man rounds the next corner, he crashes into the pig in the middle of the road. You should have listened. No. Boot Swede says, this is better than Beavis and Butthead. Yeah. Ellery says, why did the blonde take a right turn into the ditch? Because her blinker was on. And somebody sent me a joke during the week, and now I don't remember what the joke was or who sent it, but it was really funny. But that's all I can tell you. I think it might have been Sam. Sam, I think you might have sent me a funny joke, and now I don't remember what it was. I'm sorry. I have mental problems. I have brain damage. It's not my fault. A small boy swallowed some coins and was taken to his hospital. When the grandmother telephoned to ask how he was doing, the nurse said, no change yet. It's funny. When I remember, this is a vivid memory of being little at my grandmother's house. And, I mean, I was probably like this tall, you know, when you're like 6 or 7 or something. And I had one of my younger cousins was probably like 3 or 4 and swallowed some coins the way little kids do. I remember Grandma picking 3-year-old my cousin up by the feet, like just literally grabbed her up by the feet, whack, whack, whack on her back, pat, coins came falling down. Because she swallowed coins, and Grandma's immediately like whack, 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 and she whacked the coins out of her. She probably saved her life. I think you can choke on those things. Actually, I think she did start to choke. What's the difference between a frog and a horny toad? One says ribbit, ribbit, and the other one says rub it, rub it. Right. That one's for Boot and Swede. Rub it, rub it, rub it, rub it. What did the blonde say when the airplane began to shake? Oh, it must be an earthquake! Yeah, I don't remember which cousin it was, but I do remember she swallowed some sort of change, and Grandma quickly saved her life. A group of chess enthusiasts checked into a hotel and were standing in the lobby discussing a recent tournament victory. After about an hour, the manager came out and asked them to disperse. Why, they asked as they moved on. Because, he said, I can't stand chestnuts boasting in an open foyer. Ah! Oh, that's some awkward wordplay. Bobby said when he was little he swallowed a dime and he thought he was going to die, but he was too scared to tell his parents because he didn't want to get in trouble. Luckily, it came out the other end a couple days later. Next time he used a marble. Well, you didn't learn the first time? Two hippies are walking down a railroad track stoned, and one hippie says, this is a really long staircase, man. And the other hippie says, I don't mind the stairs. It's this really low handrail that's killing me. Man, I'm bending over the handrail. Bobby says he's a slow learner. He had to swallow several inedible objects before he learned not to put things in his mouth that he shouldn't be eating. What did the religious owner of a pest control company tell his workers as he sent them off on their assignments each day? Brothers and sisters, let us spray. Spray and neuter. More awkward wordplay. Oh, spray. Pest control. They spray for cockroaches. I was thinking pet control. And that's spade and neuter. Marcel has a long one. Hello, is this the FBI? Yes. How may we help you, sir? I'm calling to report that my neighbor, Billy Bob Smith, is hiding marijuana inside his firework. Thank you very much for your call, sir. The next day, the FBI agents descend on Billy Bob's house. They search the shed where the firewood is kept. Using axes, they bust open every piece of wood, but they can't find any marijuana. They swore at Billy Bob and they left. The phone rings at Billy Bob's house. Hey, Billy Bob, did the FBI come? Says his best friend. Yes, they did. Did they chop your firewood? His best friend asked. Yep. Happy birthday, buddy, says his best friend. Ah. They chopped up all my firewood for me. You guys have some good jokes today. I'm feeling productive. Last night I opened all the mail that has been piling up for the last 2 months. I had 2 months of mail that I had a big pile of papers. I went through it. I went through the pile. Every day I'm getting a little bit done. Yay! Once upon a time, a tribe of cannibals caught a saint sent to them as a missionary, and they ate him. He was very tender and tasty, and yet they were all violently sick afterwards. It just goes to show you that you can't keep a good man down. Oh! And they tried to eat a clown, but he tasted funny. You guys have good jokes today. Marcel says, a stoner stumbles out of a party and starts to walk home. On the way home, he bumps into a guy who's all bloody and mangled. The guy limps up to the stoner and says, call me an ambulance. The stoner looks at him for a second and smiles and goes, okay, you're an ambulance. Womp womp. No, I mean call 911. I need help, you dumbass. Though speaking of stoned, I'm making jokes about, we're making jokes about marijuana, but I think I just read something about being medical marijuana being approved for use for veterans with post-traumatic stress syndrome. And, you know, I've been talking a lot about post-traumatic stress, and because it's been known to help calm people. I tweeted yesterday. There was a a pretty well-known war correspondent, war reporter, who drove into the desert and shot himself. He'd been back from reporting in the Middle East. He'd been over there embedded with and reporting with different units, and he'd been back for a year, and he had post-traumatic stress, and he was embarrassed. He didn't want to talk about it. He didn't want people to know. But he obviously wasn't getting enough treatment and help, and trying to keep it a secret. And it's the kind of thing, you know, you can see how, like, somebody who's like, tough, if you're a veteran, this guy, you know, he was with all these tough guys. He didn't want people to think he was weak or he couldn't just power through it himself. So he drove into the desert and shot himself. And this is a well-known reporter. This was yesterday. That's post-traumatic stress. So, am I getting? No, I'm getting help. I am on prescribed medication, and I've tweeted a few stories on Twitter about it. But it's weird because it's an invisible injury. And it's a real, it is an injury to your brain, and it affects every part of your body, and it's a physical thing, but you can't see it. No one can see it. So, but it can be really disruptive and debilitating, and I didn't know it was such a huge problem, or it caused so much change in your body and your brain and everything, and it's so weird because you can't see it. So, and this guy, you know, he was a reporter. He killed himself yesterday. He says, I look tired. I am tired. I was up till 5 in the morning. David Jones has, oh, more wordplay. A Freudian slip is when you say one thing, but you mean your mother. I mean, you mean the other. I mean, leave my mother out of this. I am tired. I'm very tired. I was up. Hi, Angie. So, and we've got all these veterans coming back. You know, at least half of them, you have to guess that half of them have post-traumatic stress, but not all of them are recognizing that they have a problem or admitting it. They're tough guys. I don't want to talk about my fears, my insecurities. You know, these tough guys that served on the front and stuff, having to say that they feel scared or they're shaking or they're having these weird panic attacks. That's why there's so many problems with these soldiers, or they're not getting help, because these aren't the kind of guys. I mean, and it's not just soldiers, but anyone. You have to admit that you have a problem and you feel scared and vulnerable, and that's a hard thing for a lot of people to do. And then you have to go and ask for help and say that you can't handle it on your own and you need help. And that's a hard thing for, you know, just doing that. Well, Jesus, it's not just a matter of willpower. It is a brain injury, and your brain you need to rehab your brain. It's not just a matter of willpower and powering through it. You need therapy, and you need to get your brain chemicals. Your brain rewires itself. Your brain is like this magical, you know, computer that rebuilds and builds synapses and connections, and it's got all these chemicals, you know, like connections, and these kind of traumas cause your brain to build connections and reactions that you can't control, and it takes a while to get through. It's weird because you're not in control of it. You're it's hard to understand unless it happens because it's so weird. I never understood. I would have said the same thing, Thesis. I would have said like, oh, just think positive, relax, don't stress out, meditate. But like, when you all of a sudden, it just happens. You can be just sitting there and all of a sudden you're having a panic attack for no reason, or your body's shaking and you can't concentrate and you can't think, can't focus. I have to write everything down in order to get anything done in the day. I have to, like, it's like I have ADD now. I have to write down, vacuum, do the dishes, pick up the mail, get gas, brush your teeth. And Doggy says, one thing to remember with a head injury, the wiring in your brain is all chemical. Yeah. Wear clean underwear. Two vultures were boarding an airplane, each carrying two dead raccoons. The stewardess looks at them and says, I'm sorry, gentlemen, but only one carrion allowed per passenger. There's some wordplay, which you won't get unless you know that carrion. Oh, here's a long one. There were three guys, a sex addict and a weed addict and an alcoholic, all in hell for their sins, standing in front of the devil. The devil made a deal with him, saying, I will lock you in a room with whatever you did for 1,000 years, and if you get over any of your sins, I will send you back to the land of the living. So the sex addict was locked in a room full of virgins. The alcohol addict was locked in a room full of beer. The weed addict was locked in a room full of weed for 1,000 years. After 1,000 years, the devil goes to the sex addict and he says, okay. The devil goes to the sex addict and he comes out saying, oh, it hurts. I don't want to have sex ever again. And poof, he goes back to Earth. The alcoholic comes out of the room and says, I am never having a beer again. And poof, he's sent back to Earth. The devil goes in and sees the weed addict. The weed addict punches the devil in the face and says, you forgot my lighter! There's no lighter! Ah. I don't know, Wing Doggy, it's better if I write it on paper. I'm not that tech savvy to make up lists on the computer. I have to write it on paper so I can write it down and cross it off. Boon Swede is offering me a 4-week complimentary all-inclusive vacation at Club Booten Swede PTSD Rehab Spa. It's a tent in the woods. The Bunsen burner and a sleeping bag. And a case of beer. You know how to fish, don't you? I'm feeling better I'm getting better, Tesis. Tesis, I'm way better than I was a month ago, right? Way better. There were two ships. One had red paint, one had blue paint. They collided. At the last report, all the survivors were maroon. More wordplay. Red and blue make maroon. Bootin' Swedes camp PTSD rehab in the woods. You know how to barbecue a rabbit, don't you? All right. Oh my goodness, it's 6 o'clock. I have gone late. Marcel says, you need to clean the barbecue first. I'm always the grill cleaner. A piece of string, this is the last joke. A piece of string walked into a bar and says, give me a beer. And the bartender says, get out of here. We don't serve your kind here. So the string left, but he was really thirsty, and he really wanted a beer. So he messed up his hair really badly, looped himself around until he tied himself into a knot. When the string went back into the bartender looked at him suspiciously and said, aren't you that worthless piece of string I threw out of here? And the string says, no, I'm afraid not. Wordplay. All right. That is it for today. I am going to sign off. But I want to thank you guys for coming to see me and sharing all these awesome jokes. This was a really great Funny Friday. You guys are awesome. I hope everybody feels good. Let me say goodbye to everybody. Allura Star and Shocker and Sturgis Guy and Tesis, House Dave and Sam and St. Clinton and Eric and Petey and Tim and Ryan and Photo and Philip and Mark Mean and Star Raven and Angie Jonas and Fairies Lover and Lucky Girl and Azure Yusuf and the Cram and Marcel and Jim Dandy and Bootin' Swede and Azure Yusuf and the Cram and Marcel and Bill Knaus and Scott Kimmis and Jim Dandy and Sturgis Guy and Fairies Lover and Lucky Girl and Terry Sue and Philip Chandler and Red Stapler and N1QOV and Joe Barney and John McCain and Cosmic Joe and Frank and Witch of Capri. Thank you for checking in, and Wing Doggy. Let me make sure I got everyone. What's that noise? Somebody just hit a pole. Hit the pole. Probably drunk. All right. I'll see you guys on Monday. I love you. Bye. Have a great weekend. Bye. I love you.